Everyone, and welcome to the stream. My name is Lee. 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 They vibes today. She's okay. I'm not terribly picky about pronouns. Today's a good day. Good day to exist. So, yes, we have our gender sexuality thing. We have. Let's see if we can find. Rogue, no, Bronca, nope, that was Friday. We're gonna go and we're gonna look for other stuff. In the meantime, documents. In the meantime, what I think we should do is, there's a character creation. I have a random PDF labeled character creation and I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna open it up and, that's what that is. Okay. I just took out a, oh no, that's in documents, sorry. I took, tails, it's back in T. I took, the part of the, what did I take? Here, let me open this up as well so you can see it. Writing, and boom. That should pop. Yeah, there we go. I basically took the part of Rogue Trader that dealt with character creation, and I made I portioned off that part of the PDF to send it to my players to make it easier for them when I first ran my Rogue Trader game. Where's the thing? Frigging. Okay, well, first we do this. Then there we go. Now so I can make it good size. Okay. Ta-da. Cool beans. Okay. Also, hi there. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. It's a good day to exist. And, let me do this because I know it'll bug Sig if I don't, and I'm hoping he comes by. 12 hours. Okay. Yeah, they're beautiful. So we're just vibing. No one in the viewer chat yet, so that's fun. But yeah. So for those of you who don't know, let me open the Arcana notes as well. Was already open. Interesting. Okay. So I had my writing open and Flump Spain. Okay. Basically, on Sundays, for those of you who are new to the stream, the channel, on Sundays, what I like to do, and we don't have to do this on Sunday all the time, but I do love frickin' this. This book is super cool, and it's one of my fun. So I always do it on Sundays. There's this thing called Tales of Arcana, a 5e race guide, and it has a lot of extra lore, which we've been going over and like working with. It's intensive. There's so much in there. It's just a ridiculous amount of lore. Over 200 different races and notes on all of them, and then this weird epic lore that connects them all that is just weirdly ridiculous and also kind of makes sense and is just a whole host of fun. So what we usually do on Sunday is I've been going through. Okay. Interesting. Fun stuff. All right. So I was told that the stream I'd planned to raid into is starting an hour later, so that might change our stream a little. But, you know, Um, so what I usually do and one other. What I usually do on Sundays, I know it's a lot. What we usually do on Sundays is we go. So Kneisel, that's this guy Matt who wrote this didn't write the entire book, and they actually credit one of the best things about this thing is they credit the artists. So for example, I'll show you. They credit the artists as it goes. So if we found, for example, okay, yeah, there is a lot. This is just cosmic forces. This is the freaking history creation illustration by Damien Memoliti. So this celestial beings, olden ones, beings of chaos and destruction, swarm to Elohim. This is the history creation. So there's the history creation, the Eternals, powerful beings made of pure essence, which is what runs this universe. You ready? Because this gets intense. They create the sun and the planets, most importantly, super planet Genesis, whose theosphere has the core of pure essence that emulates through all Elohim via the laywebs. We read through this. It is an intensive thousands of years of just creation shenanigans. They create the Titans. The olden ones that just show up, defeat the olden ones and contain them in the void, a negative realm within Elohim. So great old ones show up, get defeated. Though trapped, the old one's presence corrupts essence, turning it into blight. So that's create the Titans to build the mortal plane. The Titans create the Colossals, mountain-sized beings who help them in this task. Metris leads the Titans in their mechanical wonders. Metris turns evil. Spoiler alert. There is some ugly, interesting things where he fights against the angels. Well, the angels were created by the Eternals to be good guys, and the Titans, there was a whole war with them. Also, this is where, it gets, because it connects to all these different realms, and freaking, Alright, more dive with me. There we go. A few. Hello, Mystical. You are always welcome here. Also, you went up past me on the Blue Box server. So, but hi, welcome. We're doing our Sunday Funday stream a little early today because I don't want to stream over Jay. And we were gonna raid into Blue Box, but now that might be. Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how long we can go with the stream. I know, I usually stream much later on Sundays, but you are always, what is that say? You're always welcome to come and hang out, and I'm glad you made it, so, welcome. We're doing, this Sunday Funday is usually, Arcana. So, not like the League of Legends spin-off TV show that also spawned a K-pop band that I did is actually really, really cool, by the way. But no, Tales of Arcana 5e Race Guide, which is this guy, Matt Kneisel, who did all the shenanigans. basically they created over 200 races, plus a lot of side ones, which some of which deserve their own freaking entries. Okay, like every not every, but a lot of them have like sub-variants, and some of those are like, no, you deserve your own freaking sheet. Like, anyway, so it's intensive and really cool, and they have basically they created this whole world called Genesis, which is Arcana is a continent on the planet Genesis, which has a huge and epic amount of lore. So to tie all these together, and they put freaking everything. Like, I think they have a Men in Black parallel. They have mutated humans who have superpowers now, a la Professor Xavier and X-Men. Fine. I don't actually have any liquid. Fine. Tell you what, give me 3 seconds and I will go get water. Just because you asked nicely. See? Also, hi. Welcome to my stream. Oof. Water, see? I went to squeeze a lemon into it, and then my roommate had also already squeezed lemon to her tea, so I just got a hunk of lemon instead of real lemon juice, but there. I probably should have water on hand, so I appreciate that. Also, hi! Wow, we have a lot of viewers now. Welcome, everyone. We're doing this 5e supplement. Oh, my name is Lee. They, them vibes today. He or she, closer to he, but she is fine. I'm pretty chill about pronouns. We are doing Tales of Arcana race guide today, which is very fun, a lot of history. So, let's see, what does it say? The Tales of Arcana, TOA, race guide is designed to provide playable races for the 5e rule set. Each race entry provides the game mechanics to successfully create and play a character of that race, along with in-world information, lore, about Arcana and its many peoples. While you as story master or player don't need to adhere to the lore provided, this flavor is added to help integrate the concepts with each other and make the race and their world feel more real. This guide has also been designed to be read like a work of fiction, where scraps of information about a given idea may spread across several seemingly unrelated entries. That's how I've been reading it. We've been going through different races and like piecing together history bits, and there's a lot to go through. And there was like a whole alien invasion, multiple alien invasions actually, technically, and a whole bunch of stuff. Also, every single planet in the entire freaking system is inhabited, and not just Genesis, but Genesis is the only one that got invaded by aliens from outside system. And although I don't know about the other ones, because I feel like the other ones might have, right? But the invaders, and a bunch of them stuck around. And the other planets formed a galactic council. Like they got themselves together. The people of Arcana didn't, because the angels created this shield to prevent further alien invasions, because the angels blatantly favor Genesis over Exodus, Leviticus. Like, the books are named after the books of the Bible. They're basically, Genesis is like the favorite one of the angels. So, and the creators, possibly? It might just be the angels, though. Also, the one angel who betrayed everyone tried to come back and actually managed to find a way through the firmament, which cuts Genesis and its moons off from everything, from any spaceship travel through. Although there are a bunch that got caught on the other side that are chill. There's a lot. There are a lot of stuff, including a group that had bioengineered sentient spaceships, but were allowed to stick around after the firmament got put up because they were chill. There are a lot. So what I've been doing, because there's so much lore, is I've been basically randomly going through. And if you'd rather we start at the early lore section, I show you the map, which I've done before on stream, but if you weren't there for that stream, I can do it again, if you guys would prefer. I always, if chat comes up, I am always up for, switching stuff up and going in a different order and stuff, within topic. Or completely off topic, because I get off topic very easily. Well, the reason is because it's so interesting. Like, I haven't even... I'd like to at some point. I would love to at some point. I really would, but it's just really interesting. So, sounds fun. Absolutely. You're always welcome to chill and lurk. Always appreciate. I feel like I should put that on. That is something I need to do, with not SoundCloud. What's the Steam, yeah, that's what I need to do, is I need to put a little lurk, alert, so that it pops up and says thank you for hanging around, because I always appreciate it when people hang around, even if you're, have me on a muted tab and on another browser while you're off running errands or something. It still, helps the channel, and I appreciate you putting the effort in to put my stream up. Like, I appreciate that, and I know, it helps me out, and it means something, and I appreciate that. But fun stuff. The reason I love this world is not necessarily because I want to run it, although I do. I really want to. I have, I have too many I want to run. Hi. Ooh, crochet. Sounds fun, actually. Yeah, absolutely. I actually got my knitting back from my parents' house, and I need to figure out, I don't know what I was knitting. It was in the round. I was knitting something in the round. I don't remember what it was supposed to be, but, I got it back, because I do miss the needles, the Clicker needles, that there is something to it. So, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But the reason why Arcana is just because it's really interesting. And, so I backed it on Kickstarter. I do this a lot with dozens of RPG. Like, I have a whole, you see something interesting and someone says, hey, I'm doing this RPG project, and it sounds interesting, and you want to support financially RPG creators, because RPGs are amazing, and it sounds really cool, like something you'd actually like to read at some point. So you back it, and you get the PDF copy, and then you kind of forget you've backed it, and then you notice the thing charging your card, like, oh, right, I probably backed the Kickstarter, and it's Kickstarter, and you're like, oh, yeah, that actually sounded really cool. And then, so you pay off the card to make sure that there's money on it, and then months later, you get an email saying you got it, and you're like, oh, yeah, that. And then you download the PDF, and then you're like, okay, at some point I'll read this. And then you never do, because you've got, 6 other games that you're playing, or you're in the middle of a campaign that you're set in your own world, so you're building that, or, you've got this new show, or there's 100 other things, and we live in a world where we're spoiled for all the cool stuff we have, so you forget about it. So, this is a very roundabout way of explaining this, but, basically, Arcana was a game like that, and it, so I'd go through, and on Fridays, what I would do is I'd go through and find cool stuff, and I'd be like, all right, this is really cool, let's look into it. And, sometimes it was Pathfinder spells, sometimes stuff I'd gotten from Humble Bundles, or Kickstarters that I'd gotten and intended to read at some point, because it was really cool. And then I found this one, and it just something spoke to me, and I really would love to run something here eventually. But mostly I'm just lore diving because it's really interesting. So, and I was like, I could do this on Sundays. And, yeah, basically it's just, the question of why, it's just really interesting. I have a whole page, actually, I'll show you. I have a page of notes, let's see. Which we've been, the planet invaders from in-system are not. They are not. We actually went to the invaders page and we found that. Or the other planets were able to evolve peacefully because Arcana had the firmament, so the invaders didn't bother coming back to the system. Well, actually, they never could because their planet was actually fully destroyed. So the planet Estros was a binary system, but it never specified whether that was just one of the planets or is it the name for both of them. And they have their own names, and who destroyed it, because it was destroyed by something. And and is there other outposts on other planets? And so since the homeworld was destroyed, were there not other groups sent out, and what happened to them? There was a lot of stuff. And then there was the Voyagers, which they were fleeing from the other planets, which is the celestial alignment, which is all the other planets kind of were technologically advanced from the other planets in the system. And they arrived pre-Sky War. Then why didn't anyone from in-system invade before that? I mean, given that the Angels blatantly favor Genesis, that's probably why. But it there's so much going on. And you're kind of trying to tease out details as you go through these races, and some of them are just so bizarre and ridiculous. You're just like, why? But also well thought out, and it's just cool. Like, why don't? So what I've been doing is I've been taking notes as we go along. What I've been usually do is I'll start alphabetically. I'll go through, find something that looks interesting. We'll start there and then go through the other ones alphabetically, and then cross-reference, look back on other stuff, and go from there. It's so usually what I'll do. Here, we can start. Boom. So usually how I do the Sunday streams. Then there's the author notes, which appear throughout the book, and have lore bits and stuff. So these are all many of those. Okay. The All-Father, which is that presiding over all the pantheons and even the Eternals themselves, is a single omnipresent but unobservable God from which all life originates, which is pretty intensive. And there's all these different realms and different things. But what we've been doing is going to... Okay, here's a question. This Ramen? What the frick is... Okay. We're going to start with Puchechu. Okay, we're going to start with the P's. Okay, pirate. All right, we're going to start with pirate. And we're just going to go down from there, because a lot of that looks really interesting. And that's kind of how we've been doing it. I wonder if pirates are like subspecies of mafia. We'll find out here. Let's go 340. We're going to figure out what the deals with pirates is. Probably, yes, there's a sock puppet race. You want to start with sock puppet race? We can start with sock puppet. Let's start with sock puppet. We can go pirates some other time. Okay, well, let's start with puppet. And then we'll figure, because sock is a sub-race of puppet. Let's see. Even if my stuffing leave my body, I will find swift passage to Yarnheim. Hugo, puppet barbarian. Okay, let's see. Puchu, Porg, Puka. Ooh, Puka. Pirate. As I spread the words of the light across the 70 seas, I often wonder what my younger self would think of the man I've become. Captain Lighthook, pirate paladin. Pirates are unaging adults from the realm of Neverland who have forgotten their childhoods and how to age. Interesting. Okay. Now we have to check Neverland to see what else is from that realm, because, like I said, it's got this combines lore from everything, including Netherland. So, many have replaced their hands and legs after riveting high sea battles. Yeah? Yes, it does include this lore. Though ancients, they fear clocks and the sound they make, which remind them of death. Pirates were once humans of any culture or ethnicity who sailed the high seas but have forgotten how to age. They are older, appearing to be in their 40s or 50s. Yeah, there's a puppet race. Do you want to start with puppets? We were going to start with pirates, and then Boost suggested we should puppets, and then I went back to pirate, but we can start with puppets. Here. We will get to all of these races eventually. Puppets are stuffed felt toys brought to life by magic. Though they still move as though they are manipulated by another, they control their own actions. Puppets love to entertain and strive to lighten the mood at every opportunity. I believe in Pathfinder 2nd edition they have a race called Poppet, which is a lot like Puppet. Actually, they just actually changed it a little bit. Who were constructs brought to life. Oh, small stuffed. Yeah, I mean, it's quite possible that you could do that. Let's see. Puppets were originally created by humans, so many appear as puppet versions of them, standing between 2 and 3 feet tall. They are made of felt and stuffing. Though they can have the same skin and hair colors found among humans, these can be any color. Other puppets might look like animal folk or monsters. A puppet female. Okay, Joe Shadowcross, I believe, drew the Shawcross drew the puppet, so female, and then we have the male version. Yeah, both, same guy drew both. They have the illustrations, and that's one of the things I like about this, is that they credit the artists in the little subnotes, so you know who drew each one. They often have high-pitched or weird-sounding voices, and move as if still being controlled by a puppeteer. Puppets are happy, always seeing positive in the darkest of times. They love to entertain others through jokes or other type of performance. Some puppets do not appreciate these expectations, though, wishing to prove themselves beyond the stage. Puppets can be found with other performers, including clowns and toons, as well as animated beings such as marionettes. Puppets, like other animate beings, were given life by the archfey Madrasella, who changed the metaphysics of Genesis to allow spontaneous animation. Okay. Now, see, this is where I'm talking about, is that we get lore dumps. Freaking, okay. Puppets can become animated by various forces, and 2 puppets can build another, which animates as their child. Cool beans. Does it take 2? Hang on. All right, now we're putting the notes thing. But does it actually take 2 puppets? Like... oh, yeah. The question is, does it take 2 puppets? Because now we're in here. We're in skin deep. I want a question of, Strix Hollow does sound cool. Gems. Oh, right. Vashni. That whole thing. Tree squids from northern regions. Okay. Does it really take 2 puppets? 2 puppets, to create a puppet. And also, could a human create a puppet? If they couldn't have children biologically, could they create a puppet? Yes, it takes 2 to tango, but it's building. It's implied that it's, creation, like, making it, as opposed to some sort of sexual reproduction like a biological creature would, because puppets aren't a biological race. Which also brings the question of pirate, but that's a whole other, or is it just convention? For example, and is there, well, that's an interesting question of puppet sexuality. Do they get, like, stuffed fables? I've never played, but I bet it's really cool. And if... a non-puppet... Oh, there actually is a whole race based on that, on defending humans from nightmares. That's not puppets, that's toys. There's 2 separate races, animate toys and puppets. Animate toys are the ones that defend the humans from nightmares, I believe. Alright, we're gonna have to check the lore on this, because, does sound fun. Okay, we're gonna go back to puppets, I promise, and we will get to all of these other ones, too, I promise, as well. We're getting to all of these eventually. Let me check something real quick. Is it under animate toy? Yep. Okay, puppets were $3.50, so just remember that. Well, that was sock puppets, actually. For a child, the darkness of their bedroom can be the nightly battleground in a war of good versus evil. Madrasella, Archfey of the Animate. She's the same one who did the puppets. Yeah, I know. Hi, Sig. Welcome, also. Oh, that's a thought. But that still brings up the question of whether it could be a single puppet, or does it really take 2? But, okay. Animate toys are given life by fey magic, which allows them to develop their own personalities. Each has a unique appearance depending on what toy was animated, but all desire to protect children from harm, specifically monsters that emerge from closets and beneath beds at night. Once a fae had to directly apply the magic that animates them, but that magic now exists ambiently in the world, so toys can spontaneously animate if needed. Ooh, that's interesting. Secret protectors. Fae rarely interact with the mortal plane. When they do, it is usually for selfish or cruel reason. Unlike the rest of their kind, Archfey Madrasella came to the mortal plane long ago and used her magic to animate various objects to protect mortal children. Every toy is different. Oh, there's a whole realm of a lot of realms about children's nightmares. That creates multiple realms that we've been... every toy is different, so their size and shape may vary. Typical toys that animate on Arcana are no more than 1 foot tall and weigh only a few pounds at most, depending on material. Fair. Although that would be a question of stealing. Is it... Oh, that's a whole other dark avenue. Animate toys have a wide variety of personalities, despite keeping themselves hidden from children. They often act in childish ways, such as being extremely grumpy, bubbly, or scared. Some might have personality that reflects their type of toy or what character they are designed to represent. It is rare for an animate toy to act like an adult, but if one did, it would most likely be a child's idea of adult behavior. Despite having sentience, animate toys keep their nature from their children until no longer needed, at which point they set off into the world to continue their mission. Small settlements for derelict toys are hidden throughout the Empire, in walls, under floorboards, and even inside some caves. There is reportedly a forest village of animate stuffed bears within the Dominion. Animate toys are unreasonably afraid of becoming damaged, creating a strange divide within their culture. The mint specimens think of themselves better than the rest. Your dexterity score increases by 2, and 2 other ability score of your choice other than strength increase by 1. Your strength score decreases by 4. Regardless of their form, animate toys gain awareness as adults. They are ageless. Animate toys wish to protect children, valuing a child's safety above their own. They are lawful good, though animate toys that have been discarded and forgotten might be bitter and skew toward evil alignment. Legendary. Even if one were to encounter an animate toy, they might not reveal their nature. Toys come in many shapes and sizes, but those animated by Fey magic typically stand about 1 foot tall and weigh under a pound. Your size is tiny. Base walking speed, 25 feet. Dark vision. Absent even dim light. Vision is monochromatic. Calm. You can cast the Calm Emotion spell once per day. Starting at 5th level, you can regain the ability to cast the spell each time you finish a short or long rest. Charisma is your spellcasting ability for this spell. Bold. You add your proficiency bonus to any saving throws you make against becoming frightened. If you have proficiency in such a saving throw, your proficiency bonus is doubled. Elusive. You can move through any space, the space of any creature that is larger than you. Also, you can attempt to hide even when obscured only by a creature larger than you. Okay, Teddy Bear, though, to be fair, was not Fey magic. He was an AI put together by a mad scientist, right? So he's a completely separate species. Completely different theory of how existence. Not created by Fae, created by a mad scientist. Innocuous seeming. You can make dodge or disengage as a bonus action. You have proficiency in the stealth skill. If creature is not sensed, you move. When you don't move, you appear to be an inanimate toy. You have the scent of an object, not a creature. Oh, yeah, absolutely sentient. But the way he gained sentience was very different. So, he might not know anything about the Archfey Madrasella, for example. If you're a humanoid, but your constructed nature gives you the following traits: immune to disease and have resistance to poison damage. Add your proficiency bonus to saving throws against being poisoned. If your proficiency bonus in such a saving throw, proficiency bonus doubled. Need not eat, drink, or breathe. No, not sleep. And don't suffer the exhaustion. Magic can't put you to sleep during a long rest, which you still need. You remain conscious and aware. So you still only get your spell slots back on a long rest, but you have to kind of sit there and meditate or something. You can't use equipment sized for larger creatures. If you throw gear, such as alchemist fire, you need 2 hands to do so, and you have the range. You can gain proficiency in and wield only blowguns, darts, slings, and weapons that have the light property. You can also use a short bow, but one sized for you deals only 1d4 damage. All these weapons require 2 hands for you to use effectively. If you throw one of these weapons, halves its range. Using artisan's tools or tinker tools, you can spend 1 hour to make non-magical weapons you have proficiency with or a piece of equipment. Doing so requires the story master's approval, and you use materials with a value equal to half the desired items cost. You can dismantle the object to reclaim its materials. So if you want to make a weapon that's not one of the weapons you have, you have to make it, basically, because it, you can't just find items made for something as small as you are. Speak, read, and write common. If you've met the Fae that animated you, you might also speak, read, and write Fae. The appearance of each animate toy varies widely from the rest. You are encouraged to bring a toy to represent your character so that other players can envision them as you do. Even though this toy might have cosmetic features such as wings, claws, or extra arms, these features have no function in the game. Of course, you can work with your SM to have these features emulate traits from other races in the book. So basically, you don't get to have... you can't give them flight or anything speed unless you get DM approval. Even if you have something with wings. But you can look pretty cool. Okay. Alright, alright. We're gonna go, because we're gonna go with puppets, and because puppets are also animated by Fae Magic. Oh. Canids. Woof. Small breed and large breed. Okay. There are a lot of really cool races in this book, as you can see. Let's see. Cyborgs, cyclopses, demi-dragons, demons, devils. Okay, hang on. Devilkin. Oh yeah, and then the digital races, which are divas, the djinn. Okay, hang on. We're going to... Okay, that's going to take forever, because then we're going to get tempted to go and check in all these other ones, and we can only do, 5 or 6 per, thing. Okay. So, oh wait, we made a note on the puppets, too. But if it does take, which opens the possibility of donation / theft. That's a really slippery slope of morality that we should probably not go down. Okay. Let's see. Archfey Madrasella, who changed the metaphysics of Genesis to allow spontaneous animation, but I don't think she animated them directly. Various forces can become animated by various forces, so it didn't specify that it has to be the Archfey, or 2 puppets can build another, which animates as their child. Puppets can be found across the Empire, though they are legal citizens. They're often treated as less than equal by biological races. Mm-hmm. Some are even hunted to create decadent puppet skin coats. Electric chambers with the lightning in them? I do not know either. I kind of know what you mean, but I cannot think of it either. So, hopefully other friends in chat might be able to help. Faraday cage. Oh, aren't those the, Faraday, the ones with the, oh no, that's the Vanderbilt, I know. Alright. Okay. Aren't puppet skin coat... Do people spell fake? Okay. Do people sell fake puppet skin coat? And how would you... And can anyone tell the difference? Van de Graaff generators is what I was thinking of, but which is clearly not what you were thinking of, but it just remembered. Van de Graaff generators. Can anyone tell the difference? So if someone were to create a puppet skin coat, for example, it would just be felt, right? The felt material of the puppet. Does it actually lend a secondary quality to it? Does it have a magical quality? Or is it just because of the is it just a status thing of, the illegal? And then, of course, you would claim it was just felt if someone actually were to, because you can make it out of skin-colored felt easily. New Empire City embraces industrialization, is known for its vibrant entertainment scene. Boardwalk Avenue's theaters mainly specialize in musicals. Off-boardwalk theaters feature traditional plays. The city has embraced television, and several programs are broadcast, including the nightly talk show Arcana Tonight, a weekly Arcana's Got Talent, and the sketch show Arcana Live. A-pop, or Arcana pop, is incredibly popular throughout the Empire, and as most of its bands got their start here. Puppets perform in all these offerings. Interesting. Very interesting. You can see a lot of lore from our world kind of pulled into this, New Empire City with, boardwalk or off boardwalk, and, let's see. Charisma and score increases by 2. One other ability scored by 1. Animated, fully mature, at least physically. They do not age. Alignment. Puppets is usually kind of interested in exploring possibilities. Puppets enjoy meeting new people, helping such folks, and seeing new sights, making them ideal adventurers. Usually neutral good. Common. Puppets are the most regularly seen among the magically animated beings in the world. Interesting. Oh, that actually makes sense. So it's sort of like an insulator, kind of, but like a bigger, so it would be made of something non-conductive like rubber to keep out, if I'm understanding that correctly, which is actually quite interesting. Let's see. Stand at 2 and 3 feet tall, weighing only 20 pounds. Size is small. Ooh! Base walking speed is 25 feet, but you gain 1 free feet, which is kind of cool. FEAT, feet. Humanoid, but constructed nature gives you following traits: immune to diseases, resistance to poison damage, with double proficiency in poison saving throws. Do not need to eat, drink, or breathe. Not need to sleep. Don't suffer the excessive exhaustion from lack of rest. Magic can't put you to sleep. During a long rest, you remain conscious and aware. I feel like there's probably like a group in any party that has multiple species that don't construct species. They're all just like sitting around boredly, because they probably do something like amusing, like card games during a long rest, right? And they're just like, if there's only one, then they're bored out of their skull because they don't have anyone to hang out with, and they can't do anything too strenuous. They kind of have to sit around, and the rest of the party is like asleep. And then for at least 4 hours of it, I mean, if you have an elf or a warforged, they're powered down for 4 hours. And then, but I bet there's, it depends on, but there's probably like a whole, like a schism between the party members about what people are doing for their long rest. And if the ones that sleep are kind of probably mocked. Well, not mocked, but they probably use that to get gossiped about while during their sleeping, because that's, Oh, so it's more like grounding. A grounding thing. Okay, that makes some sense. Proficiency in one skill, tool, or weapon. Speak, read, or write common in one other language. While many puppets resemble humans, some have colors that a typical human wouldn't have. And additionally, some puppets look like monsters, similar to the monster race in this book, while others resemble humanoid animals, such as pigs, bears, or frogs. You can choose to play as a non-human-like puppet. This choice does not impart any abilities of the chosen monster or animal. Ooh, variant. Variants. This is what I was talking about. The variants are often the craziest. Button-eyed puppets made of discarded clothing, yarn, and other scraps of cloth stitched together in an attempt to replicate the appearance of a person they wish to kill or replace. However, they are obviously unable to pull off this replacement, so they're the size of puppets and look like patchwork nightmares. They are stuffed with their obsession's hair. fingernails, or teeth in addition to other materials. Instead of normal puppet ability score increases, your dexterity score increases by 1 and other ability scores of your choice increase by 1. You have the creepy jokester trait from Dummy Race in this book, but lack the bonus feature that puppets normally gain. Bonus feat that puppets normally gain. Voodoo dolls are legendary, subject of scary stories, and not thought to be real. They're often chaotic evil. So, interesting. Question is, do voodoo dolls have the memories of their... The question is, hang on, this is... do voodoo dolls... Because this brings up a whole... I mean, I imagine so. There's probably quite a few animated... there's also Gretchen. In our recent D&D game, we came across an animate doll named Gretchen, who was, for all intents and purposes, a person, and we could have taken her along as a party member, but we had to set her on fire because... Yes, because she was creepy and did not deserve to belong in the party. Fair enough. But, Anyway, I did not know there was specific... that one actually was written... that one was actually specifically written by Gary Gygax himself, because it was in Castle Gygax. So there's a very long tradition of evil puppets, apparently. Or at least creepy dolls, which are kind of like cousins to evil puppets. But voodoo dolls, see, this is what I'm talking about. There's this whole little side paragraph, and it deserves its own answer. Interesting. Oh, wait a second. In Barovia, there was, it did not ask if you were its mummy. It asked, had you seen her? And then Jasper asked it if he had seen his sister, because he was looking for his sister. Yes, Maligno. I don't know a lot of Strahd lore, but I know, I watch Phoenix Iwaki, who is also very fun, very good friend of the channel. He did a Barovia campaign, and they actually have they basically swap souls with humans and trap the human in the doll and then take the human body and just run off, which is fine, except then you're trapped as a little toy doll and have no, human. So then, that actually happened to a party member of theirs in their Beyond Barovia campaign. I want to say it's Beyond Barovia. It was after the defeat of Strahd, and they were trying to do other stuff in Barovia. Their campaign. Kind of, actually. It was sort of. Interesting. Huh. Very interesting. Oh, like a 3D rendering. You're doing 3D rendering stuff, and interesting. Very interesting. You're making something clever and cool, I imagine. Although, we shall see. But this is what I was talking about when we were talking about the races. They have these little ones, and it's this has as much lore. You could probably make a whole page on this, because voodoo dolls are do they have the memories of the person that do they think they are, or do they know they're not? Do they know they're copies? I mean, you look at once you realize you're a copy, or is there a weird scary moment when you suddenly realize that you're a copy? You think you're you, and then you look down, and then there's the felted hands, and you don't remember. You have a whole lifetime of memories of being a flesh and blood person, and then you look down in your felted cloth, and you realize, you think you got turned into cloth, and then you suddenly realize, no, I was just created to replace. And then, does that mess with you? And if you do create one, if does it have that ability, to, and can you create one of yourself? Okay, these all need to go on the, these all need to go on the notes list. Okay, hang on. And that's assuming they have the memories, but do they at least have the personality? How much sentience do they have? Or are they amnesiac with the personality of the person, and then they might get flashes of memory? Or does it depend on how much hair you put in? Or is it like only like the past year or two? So those does not spell with an I. Right. They mean to emulate. Or the personality. Do they know their constructs, or do they have to realize it? Do they know their copies? Or... Wait, my page? Wait a second. Let me, Oh! Oh, with the Faraday cage. Is that Sigandetti? That's actually really cool. Oh, the Discord. Oh, for those of you who don't know, quick plug. Not yet. I can put an art section, if anyone would like an art section. That is my Discord. It's a stream Discord. Oh, hi! Wow, we have a lot of people watching. Hello, my name is Lee. Right now we're doing, let's see. It was Tales of Arcana 5e Race Guide by Matt Kniesel, and we were talking about puppets and all sorts of other cool animated toys. We were doing a lot of fun stuff. The link I just posted in chat is my Discord. I guarantee at least one fun meme. We have other cool stuff that we post sometimes, like discussions from stream that get moved over about the nature of life and everything. Writing prompts, we've featuring stuff. We have all sorts of fun stuff. The memes are the only thing I can guarantee. The rest of it's a little slow. We're working on making it better, but for now I can only guarantee the memes. But it's fun. Hang out, chat with me, chat with everyone else. Have a good time. And, it's a fun little server if you are interested. If not, no pressure, but, pop on by. But yeah, so that's the server, the Discord server. Sig was working on a painting, so he just, a render, which is an art medium, I would say. So he posted his render on that Discord just to show off, because he'd asked about certain things, which is kind of cool. Oh, but we were going about puppets. Possibly. I do not know. Or it's in use. Maybe it's siphoning electricity from something very dangerous shooting off behind it. Also another possibility. Because if there was something behind it that was giving off electric vibes and was protecting it, it's something behind there was heavily like a Tesla coil or something. Oh, hey, Pat came in. Hello, welcome. Sorry, welcome to the Discord. Okay, wait, we were doing the thing. We had puppets, yes. So I was. Oh, no, okay. Do they know that they are They are is different than they copies, or do they think they're transformed? Because that could be very interesting storytelling. Is you have to you play as a Voodoo character who slowly but surely realizes that you are just a copy, an evil twin copy of the original, and you have to go through the emotional upheaval and realization that you are not the real you, and everything you thought you remembered isn't your memories. And how do you negotiate that emotionally? That could be really interesting storytelling, and this whole thing should not be stuck in the secondary variant of a clone. That's a thought. I think Voodoo's are slightly different than clones because, they're made with dark magic. Though clones are an interesting thought. Do we have a clone race? Hang on. Well, no, because clones only pop up once the person they're made, that they are cloned is dead. So if the person is alive, they're just sitting there in the tank. and they only reinstate when the person is dead, and only if the soul is willing, I think. So there's only one copy of the soul. Really? I've never heard of it. I've never heard of a clone. I know that the spell, as of written in the DMG, not the Dungeon Master's Guide, whatever the book the clone spell is in, they just kind of, it awakens when you die. So you basically have it as a backup body in case of trouble. Wait, hang on. That's lots of fun stuff. I want to check to see if there's clones are a thing, because this could be a clone. Nope. Planeswalker. Ooh. Wow. Okay, there's a lot of here. Not specifically. So cloning, whether cloning is possible on... I mean, it's sure it is possible in terms of the spell clone, because all of the 5e spells apply. So, so all the 5e spells apply, which means clone is possible, but yeah, they just had clones sitting, exactly, you have it sitting around until you die, and then your body goes into the clone. So you don't really die. It's like Lichdom Light, kind of. You could also clone a younger version of you, and then and then when you die, natural causes, you get... There could be some fun stuff going on there. Although, at what point do your morality break down? Because at what point do you become power mad and evil? Well, no, they're not dead. They're just not alive. They're kind of like... Here, let me look at the technical. Let me look at the spell. You ready? Let's see. Clone 5e. We are getting a little bit of a distraction, but you know what? It's gonna be cool. Let's see. The spell grows an inert duplicate of a living creature as a safeguard against death. This clone forms inside its sealed vessel and grows to full size and maturity after 120 days. You can also choose to have the clone be a younger version of the same creature. It remains inert and endures indefinitely as long as its vessel remains undisturbed. At any time after the clone matures, if the original creature dies, its soul is transferred to the clone, provided that the soul is free and willing to return. The clone is physically identical to the original, it has the same personality, memories, and abilities, but none of the original's equipment. Makes sense. You're transferring all your innate stuff, not your body. The original creature's physical remains, if they still exist, become inert and can't thereafter be restored to life since the creature's soul is elsewhere. So reviv doesn't work on a creature that's been cloned. So according to 8th level necromancy spell clone, they should remain inert. Now, so I guess if you pop the vessel open, hypothetically, I mean, it's probably higher than an 8th level spell, though. Because if the 8th level spell creates the inert version, that's fair. Okay, no. 4E was WoW Light. 5th edition is a little better than that. Now, so in under 5th edition rule set, that spell, the 8th level spell, now that doesn't mean that it's not possible with other spells, and or you could just, really interesting. Hang on, let me see if there's a ability, okay, that's 5th edition. Let's, 1st edition, you can usually, okay, D&D Beyond, so that's the, for 3.5, okay, it's an inert duplicate in 3.5, too. If the original has been slain, the soul immediately transferred to the clone, creating a replacement, provided that the soul is freed. Original okay, yes. Any cloning attempt fails. Oh, if the original creature has reached the end of its natural lifespan, that is, it has died of natural causes, then any cloning attempt fails. So you have to stab, so you actually have to stab, you can't die of natural causes. Wow. That's true. That's true. That is interesting. That is an interesting thought. So, presumably, wow, okay. Good to know. Good to know. All right, we have learned things today. We are now learning things. That is kind of cool. True, they lack the ability to move. But I feel like they don't have a soul. Interesting. Well, hang on. That's the question, is how insane do it get, and how... Wait a second, if they clone the soul, and then also simulacrum, which is a whole other freaking mind trip of personality, because simulacrum is a person with a personality, it's just a copy version of you, which is a whole separate spell. I think that's kind of like simulacrum, but you... Because that sounds like they split that into clone, which is the 5th edition spell, and simulacrum, which is... Here, simulacrum, let me look this up. Which is a 7th level illusion spell. Illusionary duplicate of the beast human. This duplicate is a creature partially real and formed from ice or snow, and can take actions otherwise be affected as a normal creature. It appears to be the same as the original, but is half the creature's hit point maximum and is formed without any equipment. Otherwise, the illusion uses all the statistics of the creature it duplicates. So it's just basically, the simulacrum is friendly to you and creatures you designate. It obeys your spoken commands, moving and acting in accordance with your wishes and acting on your turn in its combat. Simulacrum lacks the ability to learn or become more powerful, so it never increases its level or other abilities, nor can it regain expended spell slots. If simulacrum is damaged, you can repair it in an alchemical laboratory using rare herbs and minerals worth 100 gold pieces per hit point it regains. Simulacrum lasts until it drops 0 hit points, at which point it reverts to snow and melts instantly. If you cast the spell again, any currently active duplicates you created were instantly destroyed. But it does have a whole suite of spell slots. So, I think you can... I think there also are spells like Awaken, though. So you can cast Awaken or... I know. I'm getting back. Alright, promise. Hang on a sec. Let me do the thing. Yes. Sorry about that. I know. I do get distracted very easily. Going down the rabbit hole. And we're about to get to sock puppets, which... oh, right. But the question is... That's... Yeah, so is it, like, if they get killed... Okay. That's another question. And then we go back to sock puppets, which are... creatures of whimsy may seem cute and cuddly, but they are born from magic that usurps the very nature of creation. The Emperor of all homework. I do not know what that's... Sock puppets are magically animate socks that parasitically attach to a host and completely control their bodies. Frickin' okay. That is kind of awesome. Sock puppets look like socks with button eyes and yarn hair. They are worn on the hands of their host, and the movement of the hand makes the puppet appear to have mouths and speak. Sock puppets have a variety of colors and patterns, typically bright hues with stripes or polka dots. Their eyes and hair can be any color. The buttons are typically matched. Their hosts are usually humans, which sock puppets dress to express their own personality, not that of the host. They cover their host's head so others focus on the sock puppets and hide the host's perpetual expressions of pain and fear. Interesting. I will have to look into that. Okay. Wow. Okay. Hang on. Let me make a note. Sorry. All right. I will look into that, I promise. But, sock puppets. Yes, I'm trying to act like regular animate puppets, happy and carefree, but they're evil creatures driven by their own pursuits. They do not care if their goals hurt others, and worse than them, go out of their way to make others suffer. Sock puppets are take unwilling hosts, though volunteers are possible. Interesting. Tantrum is an infernal realm of whimsy magic, which was isolated from the rest of creation by the Asen gods due to its unstable nature. Tantrum, yes, Tantrum is, there's quite a number of creatures that come from Tantrum. Whimsy magic is a whole thing. There's some really whimsical yet ugly things that, ooh, interesting. I guess if you know the reason behind the cloning when you get cloned and are evil anyway, I feel like you might be able to survive with your sanity intact. That might be a thing. Or at least have minor mental issues and not suicidal. Because madness covers a whole host of mental, is very vague and could cover anything from delusions to, hallucinations to paranoia to something simple like depression or OCD or like any number of anything in the manual, right? So hypothetically, ADHD is more neurotype thing than an actual mental illness, but there's a whole host of different things that they could have. So if you had clones, clones have mental, like, various neuroses, that could be an interesting way of looking at it, because if there's only a 5% chance that both become suicidal, then the other clone, the one that becomes, that gains madness, it might not be a full-on suicidal depression, it could be, or homicidal rage, but rather some other weird that could be really interesting to play into. Just as a thought. But we were going about, Tantrum. Though many, even the gods, believe this to still be the case, its corruption leaks into other realms and planes. When this whimsy magic found its way to Slight, the realm where lost things go, it animated discarded socks there, transforming them into parasitic sentient sock puppets. By clinging to the fur of monsters that travel through the realm, sock puppets found their way into the mortal plane. There they seek to expand their power and maintain access to suitable hosts. Many have found their niche in business as bosses who steal the bodies of their employees. Wow, okay. A sock puppet uses the host's ability scores. Oh, wow. So if you want to play as a sock puppet, you have to play as someone you have to pick your host. Are animate adults who do not age. Animated as adults and do not age. Interesting. To become better capable of exerting their will and influence, sock puppets are willing to allow other sapient beings to die so as to claim the body. Okay, so the hosts are dead before they claim the body. So they claim corpses, not living, body. Such sock puppets are evil, though most are neutral or lawful. A wiser sock puppet might claim only recently dead to live on a body that would otherwise have surely perished. Such sock puppets might even be good. Okay. Rare. Sock puppets exist only when magic creates them. Sock puppets are about 1 foot long, so they do not reproduce. That is an important note. Are about 1 foot long and weigh only a few ounces. Your size is tiny. As an active humanoid creature, the sock puppet is the size of its host. Speed equals that of the host. Basically, you puppet a dead body. I actually had a player character who had a similar thing where he was puppeting a corpse. Well, puppeted corpse was his familiar. He was a sentient weapon whose puppeted corpse had a puppeted corpse for a familiar. It was an interesting arrangement. I actually, came up with exactly who the host was and what had happened and how he ended up there. And then the player had to drop the game for work-related reasons, and so the stranger mysteriously disappeared with a sentient weapon puppeting a corpse. It just kind of exists in the world, which is kind of a scary thought, but, fun stuff. You exist as a parasite extension of another sapient humanoid, usually a human. Over the course of 1 hour, you can subjugate a humanoid that has 0 hit points or one that has died within the past 24 hours by enveloping one of its hands or hand-like appendages. The body must be whole, since you can't restore severed limbs and such, but any disease or poison in the host clears from the system. Well, okay. What if they were missing limbs anyway? Like, if the host only had 1 arm, right? You could take the other arm, and you couldn't restore the missing limb, but you could probably use the body anyway. You'd just be short 1 arm, which would limit what you could do otherwise, but would make dressing hard. But you could do it, especially if they had a prosthetic, although you might need to refit the prosthetic if they died with it on, depending on if it was one that was linked into the nerves or not. Because if it wasn't linked into the nerves, then, you just have to make sure it didn't fall off. When you subjugate a host, the host's soul departs from the original so the original creature is dead. Your experience, memories, and soul override the host's. You absorb only the host's most basic mental and spiritual faculties, meaning you take the host's racial traits, including the ability to score adjustments. When you subjugate a host, their features and posture change in bizarre ways that make them seem to be a different individual than they were. You can't pass for the original person. When you speak, your voice comes from your place on the host limb. If you leave your host, which you can do as part of your movement, the host body dies, although you can subjugate it again using this trait. Okay. You are susceptible to certain magic while controlling the body in this way. The break enchantment option of Dispel Evil and Good disrupts your connection to the subjugated body, rendering you stunned for 1 minute if you fail a wisdom save throw against the spell. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turns, ending the stun condition. Wait a second. If someone uses that and then relives the original body, are you just SOL? Like, are you just not able to retake the host? That's an interesting okay, hang on. This is an interesting question. So, what I've been doing, for those of you, hi, welcome. We have way more viewers now. Hello. I'm Lee. He and vibes. Cheer they is fine. Kind of leaning toward they anyway, but, point was that we're reading through this 5e race guide written by Matt Kneisel, which is really interesting, and this has the sock puppet race, which are a whole thing. But, what I also have while creating this intensive thing, and we do get rabbit holed occasionally by other, is a whole list of questions about various races in the book, and like lore questions, which sometimes later get answered and raise new questions. So there's just notes on the different different lore related stuff and interesting story prompts and stuff like that. So one question we might add to this list is, if someone revivifies the host body after, or do they count as having been undead, so the reviv wouldn't work? And do they count as dead for purposes of clone? So if they had cast clone and then reduced to 0 and then you stole the body, can the clone wake up? That's an important question as well, because, reasons. After casting Dispel and, if someone revivifies a sock puppet's host, I should say, of a sock puppet, specifically, after casting Dispel, and separating the body, does that leave the sock puppet hostless? Does the Revivify spell fail? They'll auto-fail. Auto fail. Well, no, it said, okay, so it said, hang on, it specifically said, even though, hang on. So if you've had, because there was a whole thing on regaining the host, right? So let me do this so we can show you guys as well. What does it specifically say? If the subject body is the target of raise dead, reanimate, reincarnate, resurrection, or true resurrection, you must attempt a wisdom saving throw against the spell. If you succeed, you remain in possession of the body and the spell fails without consuming material components. On a failure, you are forced off the body as original soul's returned if the spell succeeds. Oh, so it did specify. And I presume if it had, the body had been dead less than 1 minute before, Revivify would count 2 if it'd been less than a full minute before you took it over. Because while separated from a host, you are a humanoid, but your constructed nature gives you the following traits. 1 strength, 7 dexterity, 10 constitution, 1 hit point per level. Immune to diseases, poison damage as well as the poison condition, but you are vulnerable to fire and slashing damage. 10 feet and are prone, and you can crawl at full speed. Base walking speed is 10 feet. You are prone, and you can crawl at full speed. Okay. You retain your class abilities, but cannot perform somatic spell components or other tasks that require a full body. You are incapable of wearing armor, clothing, using gear, tools, or weapons. You need not eat, drink, or breathe. You need not sleep, and you don't suffer the effects of exhaustion from lack of rest. Magic can't put you to sleep. During a long rest, which you still need, you remain conscious and aware. So you speak, read, and write common and whimsy. I wonder if... So you can move a little bit without a host, right? You can't do somatic spell components, but non-somatic spells you can do. And if the voice comes from the hand anyway when you're on a host, presumably you have some sort of vocal apparatus, right? So that's a thing. But, interesting. So, wait a second. It severs your connection to the body. Then, could you cast that even if they hadn't severed the connection? That's my question. Interesting. Yes, getting sucked into rabbit holes is a very, very common, which is, I think, a good way to get to whimsy, apparently, according to certain, suggestions. But, interesting. Okay, so sock puppets are freaking... Alright, why don't we go back to pirates? Because we were gonna start at pirates, and then get down to sock puppets, and then we got to puppets before, and then we bounced around and then ended up just going to puppets. But let's go to pirates next. Well, what's next after puppets? Quarine. Okay. Let's go back to pirates, and then we can... Yeah, let's start with pirates, and then... Okay. Oh, wow. Oh, so you just so basically you just loop the two of them together. So you could argue you just, I mean, unless you're making something specific that requires them to be two separate pieces, you could, maybe vibe and put them together that way. That would be an interesting way to attach two pieces. Probably is a method, I'm guessing. Huh. Okay. Pirates found their way to Netherland by attaining rare nautical charts. Yes, I do have that open. Oh! So one squig is just trying to eat the other. Duh. It's a hungry squig, and it wants to eat the other. Very much in character for squigs to try to eat each other. Whether they succeed or not is up to you, because you can pull apart the yarn. But... it's very in character. I feel like that's not exactly out of character for a squig either, to try to eat its own foot. I feel like that's probably a thing. Rare nautical charts and an artifact known as the Compass Rose, which a navigator had stolen from the realm of Ashgarden. Here, the ranking pirate, Captain James Hook, learned the secret of immortality by sacrificing his childhood memories and forgetting how to age. The ritual alerted Sobek, the Kaziran god of death and member of the Ennead pantheon. He saw Neverland pirates as disrupting the natural cycle of life and death. Sobek, in demigod form, clashed with Hook, consuming the captain's hand and a stopwatch in the fray. Pirate warlocks banished Sobek from Neverland. Ooh. Oh, Sobek like the... Yes, the crocodile. That makes perfect sense. It's the crocodile god because the crocodile with the... Yes. Okay. Sorry, it's just... feels, okay? Trapping in corporeal forms between realms, though he continues to send his children to kill all pirates. Uh-huh. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm okay. Miguel Regadon Harkness drew the pirates. Ooh, I wonder what the female pirate looks like. Ooh, she actually looks kind of cool. She has mad drip, okay? She looks cute. Alright, eventually Hooks and his agents pirates formed the Neverland Compact with the Lost Children and other races of the realm, working together to protect themselves from the denizens of other realms and the mortal plane. He rules his pirates from his vessel, the Jolly Roger, docked in Port Pirate. Interesting. Many Neverland pirates returned to Genesis to work among mortal pirates, keeping an eye on possible threats and manipulating other pirates to benefit Neverland. Hook has buried treasure hidden on Arcana to protect it from his allies. His precious booty is protected by a curse, which is the origin of the phrase Hex marks the spot. Yes, I agree with Sig. Do it. It sounds cool. Okay, hang on. This is a whole thing. Mundane pirates are found across Arcana. This is where we get the Lord up. Wait a second. Hang on. Sorry, Lord Dump time, and I'm excited about Lord Dumps, okay? But, okay. The pyrocracy of Armada is a territorial nation operating out of Pirate Bay, a city whose buildings are made of haphazardly stacked ships in the eternal ocean at the center of Arcana. It also controls several flotilla port cities made of ships secured together. Armada operates from the most part as a lawful nation despite its pirate heritage. Avast is a small independent port for pirates who wish to do good. Some pirates even live on the land but act as though at sea, riding mechanized vehicles that look like pirate ships. Cordelia is known for both its seas and sky piers, where pirates of air and sea gather. Okay, sorry. There's a podcast called Heart of Adventure. Basically, the party is rather high level and had gotten into some crazy shenanigans already before they started the podcast. And one of the shenanigans they got into was stealing a pirate ship. And they managed to get it to run on land by having a giant hamster wheel mechanize it so it could go over land. The Boar's End, it was called. The podcast is called Heart of Adventure. Great friend of the show's. I'll put a link in friend streams to that. I'll put a link in because it's really cool, and I do like shouting out friends of the stream. But they haven't put a new episode out in ages, so. But the ones they have out already are pretty cool. But they do have a mechanized pirate ship that does go over land. It's run by Hamster. It's powered by Hamster. Edward Fishbottom being the hamster shepherd. I do not know if they give a name for their hamster. I will have to ask. I'll have to ask at some point. In fact, the creator of said stream is going to be in 1 hour. Because they're moving the stream back an hour, so it's an hour later. The creator of that podcast is going to be on another stream that we're going to raid into. But, anyway, pirates. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, that was it. So, this is interesting. So, pirates are a thing on Arcana. Regular mundane pirates, not these magical pirates who have to go to Neverland and sacrifice childhood memories to gain immortality. Okay. So, Interesting. Let's see. 2 different ability scores. Your choice increased by 1. Ages humans do around 50 or 60 years. They are thereafter, up to around 50 or 60 years. They are thereafter ageless. Pirates live for themselves, seeking adventure on the high sea. They are often neutral, evil, or chaotic neutral. However, they are lawful good in the context of their own pirate codes. Yes, following the code. Rare. Mortal pirates are common on Arcana's waters, but the ageless pirates of the Netherlands keep to their own ports. Pirates have the same size and weight as humans. Your size is medium. This is an interesting question, though. Could a halfling, because if mortal pirates are around, presumably halflings, elves, dwarves, etc. become pirates, right? Let's see. It does not have any subrace. See, this is where... Okay, you can cast Animal Friendship as a first level spell once per day. So, okay, when they said Mafia, which was the human who are born with, basically humans whose family are linked to crime, so you're born with innate knowledge of the crime force, which is really just very... but the problem with that is that it's a family trait, but it did say that there were others who were coming from other species, not just human, but this one doesn't even specify that. But you can cast Animal Friendship as a first level spell once per day without material components, but only for tiny-sized birds. The bird remains charmed indefinitely until it dies, or you charm another bird. So basically, you can just have a pet bird. That is kind of cool, not gonna lie. Business dealings. You have proficiency in the insight and persuasion skills. Also, you can add your proficiency bonus to any check you make to do research, decipher paperwork, including laws and contracts, or codes, and do arithmetic. If you run a business as a downtime activity, each day you spend doing so counts as 2, up to a maximum of 20 days spent for a total of 40 on your to your roll. If you hear clock ticking or movement of clockwork gears, you must succeed on DC 10 Wisdom saving throw or become frightened. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turns, ending the frightened condition on yourself on a success. The question is, how long does the success last? Like, do you have to keep making the saving even after you save, or does it are you immune for 24 hours? That is an interesting question. We'll have to... you have the sharpshooter feat. Pretty cool. You have proficiency with firearms and with navigator's tools, a set of which you also possess. You also have proficiency with water vehicles. Weapon hand. You may choose to permanently lose one hand and replace it with a light weapon. You have proficiency in this weapon. However, you are then unable to wield two-handed weapons. Speak, read, and write common, aquatic, and guttural. Interesting. Interesting. The question on that is, why not whimsy? Okay, so Neverland is not connected to whimsy, which, or tantrum, which is interesting. I wonder if there's any more lore on Neverland. Like, okay, let me, yes, okay, this is where we might need to do the search feature. But first, we have to question, okay. Alright, so we haven't answered that, so we're gonna erase it, because we know the answer is they have to make the saving throw. The question then becomes, although, if a sock, okay, but that, who'd clone cast on them, because you can cast clone on, it's so you don't lose your weapon. If you put a knife on your hand instead of a weapon, well, actually, you could probably do it if you lose your hand in other methods. So if you lose your hand anyway, yes, but you can also then have the weapon stolen, or removed, or disarmed, or etc. Whereas if you have a weapon in hand, you can't get it taken away from you under any circumstances. Also, if you lose your hand anyway due to some tragic backstory reason, then you might as well put a weapon on the end of it. You know. Plus, yeah, because then basically it's to prevent you from losing your weapon, and or, yes, but it's a lot harder than prying a dagger out of someone's hand. And it depends on how it's attached. if it's well attached, you might have to cut the hand off to get it off, in which case you might as well just, cut their hand off with the dagger on it anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it might require hacking the hand off, but you can't, like, pry it loose, or it can't get stuck in another creature. Well, okay, if it gets stuck in another creature, you are stuck to them too. But you could use it as a grapple method. If that's part of their thing, you can reverse Uno card them and be like, oh, well, I'm stuck with you, and you're stuck with me. Plus, if someone does that, cuts off your hand to get rid of your arm as another part of another fight, and then you replace it with the weapon anyway after you already lost your hand, then it's kind of, it's probably more the kind of thing you do after you lose your hand to something else, such as the crocodile, which are, you get your hand eaten by a crocodile, for example. Then you might replace it with a light weapon, because you got to replace it anyway. Well, you don't have to replace it. You could leave it. But if you're going to replace it anyway, you might as well have a weapon, but we were going to ask the question of, okay, if a sock puppet possesses the body of a person who had the spell clone cast on them, can the, also, can you bless? Can you use spells like bless to give the, can you use spells, to give the, well, I guess you would be trying to get the, well, true, but it doesn't specify purpose, hang on, what does it say? Permanently lose one hand. Okay, yes. Yeah, okay, fair, but, if you lose your hand anyway, instead of regrowing it, you could put a hook on the end. Just for the cool factor, basically. Let's see. And can the soul go into the new clone body? And if, and can spell affect the saving throw like Bane affect, like, can you bless the body if you have bless but not Bane prepared? Can you bless the body and then would that give a -D4 to the sock puppet when trying to resist the, is that a thing you can do? That is a DM question. Okay. Can species that becomes the question. Can they become, that's the big question, is can species other than humans become immortal through pirate magics? Ooh. Also, we have to ask, what the hamster's name is. That's an important question. I'm not as caught up in the lore of the Heart of Adventure as I should be, but, okay, Puka. Well, actually, hang on. Would anyone object if we open this up and search, No. No. Okay. No, hang on. Redact. Press. Scan. No. None of these are what we want. Okay. There we go. That's the one we needed. Okay. Here's what we're gonna try something. Hopefully it shows up on the... It's working on it. We're gonna try if we can't try to see if we can, see if there are anything else from Neverland in the race guide, and then we'll go to Puka. I think would be the best way to do it. Yeah? Anyone object? Or not object? Anyone in the chat want to do something else instead? Okay. 1 out of 15. So pirates. Alright. Mortal Realms. Okay, here we go. A land of pirates and adventure. Hundreds of realms, but some visited more often than others. Okay, hang on. Realms. And various points on the mortal plane, with each location represented by a thematic statue. Touching the statue allowed travel to that place. Walking the sands is rare. The mortal realms, or mortal shards, are unique pocket realities of finite size that are home to unique races, societies, and metaphysics separate from Elohim, but connected to Genesis. One of them is Neverland. While they may be connected to the main metaphysical realms, they can also have their own unique celestial, infernal, elemental, or afterlife subrealms. They may be connected to Genesis metaphysically by various world trees, such as Yggdrasil or Rajdrasil. Some mortal realms are defined by their dominant races. For example, a demon realm is controlled by the demons, and a fairy realm is controlled by fae. The intent of having alternate dimensions in Elohim is to allow story masters to create worlds that may have different metaphysical properties or concepts that would not cohesively function with a traditional fantasy world. A realm where geography changes daily or dreams become physical might not be too weird for the main world. While you can absolutely make a region where metaphysics are different from the rest of the world, some players may desire separation to more easily understand the game's story. Okay. Of all the fae races, fairies are the most visible to the average citizen. They are found all across Arcana, even in large cities, although one is more likely to hear their fleeting laughter than catch a glimpse. Many live in small communities, building homes in trees or making up residence one of the many little districts in Empire cities. Fairies are abundant in the Fey Wald of the subcontinent of Evera and on the Isle of Erie. They also found throughout other realms, most notably Everrain, Feyheim, Neverland, and Equinox. Hi! Hello! Blue Box, welcome! Basically, hi! Welcome! I was gonna read into you, but, oh, thank you! I don't know what I can give you for 1,000 bits, but you get to, hang on, 1,000 bits. But I appreciate it nonetheless. I think it was, I mean, you can do a reroll, but we haven't rolled anything all day, so, usually I allow for a reroll for 100, so you could get 10 rerolls if you wanted, but I haven't actually rolled anything today. Basically, welcome. We're doing, here. We'll go here, and this cool Tales of Arcana 5e race guide. This is our, I do this on Sundays. Fine, I'll drink, see? Water. Look, hydration. Sorry. What was I gonna say? Yes, so Tales of Arcana, which is this whole thing by Matt Kniesel, which has a whole, it's over 200 5e races, and it takes place in in Genesis, which is a planet, in the realm of Elohim, that has, basically they take every trope from every type of fantasy world ever, not just D&D, but also, like, X-Men, like they have a whole mutant subculture, I think Evo is the technical term, they have Fae, they have just everything, they have Borg, they have a Borg, basically a hive-minded cyborg race that, basically follows the Borg, and they also have Neverland is because they have all these realms, which are the little alternate realities that are connected to Elohim. One of them was Neverland, and they had pirates, which are humans who found their way to Neverland and then sacrifice childhood memories to gain immortality, and are hunted by crocodiles because of Sobek, the god of death, did not like the fact that they were immortal, but actually had. So we've been going. I've been trying to find if there were anything else from Neverland in terms of races, or is it just the pirates? So we had here. Okay, so yeah, Wonderland is a whimsy, high-tech whimsy magic. Oh, Oz exists too. Okay, and Sanctum. Ooh, Everrain, Ferrol. Ooh, do not want to be there. There's quite a bit. Oh, and then there's, of course, Sweet Home, which is the realm of evil Mother May-I, who makes people into jam, and then the jam brings these wicker rats to life, and they're terrifying. And then they sneak back into our world and kill people. It's great. There's so many, like, sub-realms. This book, and of course, they also have an alien invasion as part of the history, and the angels fought off the alien invasion and then created the firmament, which kept other people from other planets out, even though every other planet in the system is also inhabited and doesn't have firmament, which is, the angels clearly favored Genesis. It's an intensive, sprawling lore. But we were going for Neverland. Let's see. Okay, so fairies are also found in Neverland. Raise and hunt bugs so they can also eat human food. Even leave small offerings of food for fairies to avoid trickery. Very common from our... illegally hunted, the wings can be ground to dust that confers flight, and their rainbow blood, called splat, can magnify spells. Fairy harvesting is common in the port city of Fetasplat, located in the rainforest of Razai and operated by East Arcana Trading Company. Good to know. Oh, that's why. This is fairy as this. That's where that comes from. Okay, so that's the first. It loops back around to fairy. Okay, so they're found in Neverland as well. Lost Child. Oh, okay, here we go. This is what I was looking for originally. Was Lost Child. Okay, so Neverland, and then more Lost Child. Okay, and then Pirate. Okay, so Lost Child. This is where the Neverland lore comes in. All right, this is what I was looking for originally. They'll be dead before nap time. History will show that they are the poo-poo duty heads. Peter Pan, Lost Child War Chief of the Neverland Compact. Leonardo Santana. That's one of the, Cool! Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate it. We do Arcana every Sunday. And we will definitely, if I'm still streaming, by the time you guys start, I will raid into you for sure. And thanks for stopping by. So that's male, and then that's... Okay, that's pretty cool. Male and female. Let's see. Human kids who have refused to grow up becoming ageless. Magical rituals, both purposeful and accidental, can cause this effect, as can unique properties of different realms. Regardless of their chronological age, they still act like children. They form their own semi-tribal societies hidden from the adult world. Lost children were once human, so they have the average shape and size of human children between the ages of 5 and 10. They're physically between 3 and 5 feet tall, weigh between 40 and 70 pounds. All human cultures and societies in Arcana have had children who have become lost. Since many live in wild regions without adult supervision, their clothing is often ragged and dirty. For many lost children, life is a big game of pretend, and they are unable or unwilling to recognize what they've left behind. Some miss their families and their former lives, but this is frowned upon, so they are reluctant to express these feelings. Many have learned to act tough and hide their emotions, rarely cry even when they get a boo-boo. Lost children distrust adults of any species, though they get along well with animated or constructed beings. They also enjoy the company of more whimsical beings such as Toons and Vroom Vrooms. The Fae fled their homeworld, the twin planets Estros. Oh, right, because they were actually part of the pantheon of the Estradians before they committed the invasion. Right, I remember this. Which were destroyed by powerful and mysterious evil. So there's no... Okay, so there is no... the Fae were the Fae and Gob were the pantheons from Estratus, which was the ones who committed the alien invasion. The second alien invasion, not the first one with the mysterious but the second one that was fought off by the angels, and then they put the firmament up. Wanted to prepare for the inevitable war with the forces that destroyed their home. However, they found that as ageless immortals, it was impossible for them to develop a sense of urgency. Since humans are finite, they could act and plan in ways the Fae could not. However, human adults were not cooperative, so Fae abducted human children and allowed them to rule fairy realms, learning from their temporary lives. One such realm is Wandrigal, where human children reign as kings and queens over Fae and sentient animals. The process that creates lost children originated from experimenting on these child royals, and for reasons unknown, it became part of Genesis' metaphysics. Okay. That's convoluted and tragic, but okay. Not all lost children found their way to other realms. Many have treehouse villages hidden in wooded regions of Arcana, even in areas dangerous for adults. Some have found homes in puzzle woods, spatially anomalous forests that require walking specific routes to avoid becoming lost. The most famous puzzle wood is Eleron Forest, located in the Empire's Yezet province. Other lost children dwell in obscure elfkin groves, alongside other hidden races such as Fey dragons. Though lost children seem to be playing lifelong games of make-believe, life among them can be harsh, especially for younger kids. Some of the largest and oldest lost children employ bullies to secure their power and even arrange to have nearby children kidnapped and indoctrinated. However, not all children villages operate that way. Some are more whimsical, with technology built from construction, toys, and collectible stuffed animals, using trading cards as currency. These communities are far more like what a child would imagine, with regular snack and nap times among hours of play. In the Empire, lost children may be members of the Younglings, a licensed adventuring guild run by young adults who train younger adventurers. Their guild hall is shaped like the letter Y. Neverland is a mortal realm theorized to have once been a fairy realm that was first discovered by children who resisted growing up. It is unclear how the first children traveled to Neverland, but pirates later discovered routes there in sea and sky vessels. After decades of conflict between the pirates and now lost children, both sides agreed to cease fire to avoid destroying the realm. Pirates and lost children allied to form the Neverland Compact, which also welcomed fairy, merfolk, and shadow elemental members. This faction run raids against the Mortal Planes, Second Empire, and Dominion outposts throughout Arcana. Okay. Alright. 2 different ability scores increased by 1. Lost children age as humans until they reject aging between 5 through 10, where they become ageless. Lost children have mental maturity of their physical age. Sorry, anime fans. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. So, that's a whole separate thing. You can't get any of that. Which means that they can never consent to... Well, that's kind of tragic. I guess if you're not into it, it doesn't matter. Not lost if you don't know what you're missing. Lost children act in accordance with their current mood, making them chaotic neutral. Rare. Lost children form secretive clusters hidden in dense forest, avoiding adult world when able. You are the size of a student child appropriate for their age. Your size is small. You have walking speed of 30 feet. You can add your proficiency bonus to saving throws against any effect or situation that causes you to gain exhaustion. If you have proficiency in such a saving throw, your proficiency bonus is doubled for these purposes. You have proficiency in the insight skill and 1 gaming set. You know the prestidigitation cantrip. Choose your spellcasting ability modifier from among intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So any of the mental stats. For you, 4 hours of sleep is as good as 8 for other humans. Ooh, so you really only need 4 hours a night. Good for you. Speak Common. You may also know how to read and write Common, but that depends on whether you learned to do so before you stopped aging. Cool beans. Alright. That's interesting. Kind of dark. That is very interesting. Okay. My plan after this, but I wanted to see what else they had from Neverland, and fairy was... They had fairies and they had lost children, and then merfolk, which... well, that'd be an interesting... But that was basically our plan. Why don't I go back to P for Puka? Does that sound cool to everyone? We can go back to the pirates and then go south the other P's. Puka and Porg and other... Because that actually also sounded interesting. I got distracted by lost children. If no one objects in the chat... Fun stuff. Also, boom, 8 viewers. Wow. That's pretty cool, actually. Always fun to have friends. For anyone who knew, my name is Lee. They, them vibes. He or she is fine. I'm pretty chill about pronouns. Oh, right, the Discord. If anyone wants to join the Discord, you are always welcome. We're having a very fun time with it. I guarantee at least memes. We've had some other fun stuff, discussions that carried over from chat. We have a couple writing prompts. Those kind of forums aren't very active, so might not be much, but I do promise that we at least have fun memes. That is the only thing I can guarantee on the server. Anything else is other fun stuff that we're trying to work on, and it's under construction. But it is quite fun if you want to join. No pressure, though. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So, okay, clones, some black rooms, brewery. We go back up now. Ooh, alright. Hang on. Okay, there's some really fun one. See, that's the thing. Every time you think you got something, they're like, oh, this other really cool thing is also really cool. We're gonna try and stay organized. I know it sounds very ridiculous, and we're going to try. So let's see, I think it was 340 that we were. Yep, and then we went, and then we go here, sorry. And then Puka. We don't use magic, we breathe it. Don't just use magic, we breathe it. Drishi Yin, Puka Summoner. Aw. Hatskeep is a ring of sleight, a realm of... Ooh, interesting. Pukas are a race of fey-touched humanoids with rabbit-like attributes, notably rabbit ears and feet. They are known for their magical research and spellcraft. Okay. Pukas can look like humans of any culture or ethnicity, but have long rabbit ears and rabbit feet. Oh, I see. Like that. This is one. And then if we go over to this side, another same feet theory. So they wear spats instead of and cover only the heel of the foot, not the toe. Although I suppose you could cover, it depends on what kind of footwear you would want, depending on culture. Because have long rabbit ears and rabbit feet at the coloration pattern of various rabbit species. Some puka might instead have paws for hands and rabbit-like facial features, though they still look generally human. Friendly, though excitable and easily frightened. They have large families which give them good social skills. They are punctual. Though they are fey-touched race, puka live among mortals, as well as wildkin races such as hedgehogs, cannons, and ferock. Well, okay, I don't know if... Fair. Alright, I don't know if these are spats then, and the heel is uncovered, because the angle shows that they have, it covers the top, and then and then it might cover the heel, so I don't know if these aren't spats then, they're... Because I feel like spats... Hang on, let me check something. Cover also the ankle, right? Let me just see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it covers the ankle and then, underneath the middle of the foot. Yeah, so, and what they have here is, or like the top, yeah, so it kind of goes over this, and then maybe underneath to cover the middle of the foot, possibly. Okay, yeah, so this is, yeah, so it's the middle, but not the heel or the toe, which are covered by more traditional foot, shoe, or rather just the foot, because usually it goes, if I remember correctly, spats go, yeah, kind of toeless boots, yes, exactly. I don't know what these would be, because you can't tell if the heel are out. Are they spats or are they toeless boots? I don't know. I could zoom in a little bit, I suppose, and see if we can't. Yeah, no, there's no... I think those are soles. Yeah, so I think these are toeless boots rather than spats. But they do have the feet poking out. I don't know if you could cover the toe or whether that would throw off the balance and make walking difficult. It's hard to say from this illustration, but... ooh, they even have a whole transport via hat spell. Okay, hang on. Pukas are fey-touched race who become mortal over the become mortal over the centuries. Many study magic or work in. Okay, so are they mortal or? All right, we're gonna have to. If they become mortal, we're gonna have to read this a little more. The most powerful of their kind can transport via hats, though. Some learn to dig holes to other realms. Pukas are concerned about the spread of the taint. A terra-morphing malignant magic that brings out the worst in the land and people it touches, having lost many warrens to it. Pukas are devout people and worship members of the Fey pantheon, such as Titiana and Oberon, or archdemons if they are magically inclined. Some revere Luna, the god, one of the moons of Genesis, just as the Dark Elves do. Arya, the Aeson goddess of compassion, is depicted as a puka and has a sizable following among them. After Dee opened up to the rest of the world, Tuer Shen, the rabbit god of homosexuality, was discovered by the pukas, and many worship him regardless of their orientation. Okay, there's a rabbit god of Dee opened up to the... Okay, hang on, that's a whole other... The Hatscape is a ring of Slight, the realm of lost objects, used by some races to travel quickly between points on the mortal plane. In the Hatscape, all life forms wear hats, from trees to wild beasts. This is the source of the magical hat used by snow people. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a whole other realm. Yeah, because it is, by own, if you actually... Yes. Yeah, I think we're going down a literal rabbit hole. Quite possibly. Hats. What was I going to say? Hats, spats. There were a lot of things going on. Oh, yes. Puka. And D. I want to kind of figure out what D is, but, okay. A puka traveling through hat glances off the Hatscape, similar to how a bed and closet monster glance off of Slight when they travel through the shadows. Huh. That is interesting. The Wonderlander, known as Mad Hatter, frequents this realm to exploit its magic. Okay. Oh, the magical hat used by snow people, right, because if you actually do a close reading of magic, Frosty the Snowman, it is very clear that he was just a snow body possessed by the magical, something possessing the magical hat. It was some sort of demon or other preternatural creature that was possessing the hat that then took the body of Frosty because he was made of snow, and they, it was able to puppeteer the body, or possess it of some sort. One ability score of your choice increases by 2, and a different one increases by 1. Interesting. Ages humans and rarely live past 120. Okay. So, despite their mischievous lineage, pukas cover the land spectrum. Uncommon. Those that travel might expect to encounter pukas. Okay. Built like a human, though, puka's ears add an extra foot to their height. Size is medium, but you're extra tall because ears. I wonder how much control you have over your ears. Like, because actual rabbits, they, like, flop. They don't stand up straight. But these guys are illustrated with them standing up straight. So how much control do they have over the ears? Another question. We'll put this on the list of... Hang on. Is it puka or pukas? Hang on. Fufu. Okay, hang on. Pukas. Oh, it is pukas. Okay, so the plural is pukas, not puka. Wow. Really? Interesting. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Frosty was absolutely possessed by that magic hat. If you read the text, it's like, oh, yeah, obviously, because I'll be back again someday. Like, if he was in any way tied to the snow body, then he couldn't come back. But the hat wouldn't melt in July the way a snowman would. So, technically, it was very obviously the possessed hat. Interesting. Well, apparently puka are based on rabbits that have their ears stand up, because, according to these, although maybe they have sub-races that flop, these are only 2 random puka, not an entire species, and it always specifies that the examples are always, that they could be of any, race or ethnicity, so there's more variation than this, so maybe there is a difference, Puka, okay, so pukas is not S, it is S, not ES, or just like fish where it's plural. Pluralized that way. I guess floppy-eared puka wouldn't have the same adding a foot of height, though, right? Because, quite possibly. So, okay, this, Taint, okay, is a terramorphing malignant magic that brings out the worst in land and people it touches. Okay. Then there's the Hatscape, is a ring and sleight, which you can bounce off of to, travel with your hat. Okay, ageist humans do rarely live past under 20. Okay. Despite their mischievous lineage, pukas cover the alignment spectrum. Uncommon, built like a human, at an extra foot of height, size is medium. 35 feet, you get an extra 5 feet of walking speed because boingity boing. You can see in dim light within... Ooh, do you think they... Here's an interesting... Yes, okay. You know what, I'm quoting you on this. I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna quote you. I'm gonna put it in fun memes. I'm putting you in the... I'm quoting you. I am quoting you. Yes, you're going in. You are going in the Majiggy what's it. Yes. I'm quoting you, and I'm putting it in the memes channel. Yes. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. All right, we are going to have a... There might be a new feature on the Discord coming soon, because that sounds cool. Okay. All right, Heritage Fae. You are humanoid, but are considered to be Fae whenever it is detrimental for you, which is basically how that... ooh, you can see dark vision. Base walking speeds... I wonder if they hop or... you know, if they move the same way humans do, because your feet are... Keen ears. When using your sense of hearing to attempt a wisdom perception checks, you can add your proficiency bonus. If you have proficiency, it doubles. Because being able to hear well. Heritage Fae. Dark vision. Jumper. Double the distance you can jump. You can speak with animals per the spell of the same name at will. This trait is non-magical. You just can speak with animals. That's pretty cool, actually. If you can cast spells, add transport via hat to the spell you know. It's a 6th level conjuration spell. If you can speak, read, and write common, you can also speak, read, and write either Fae or Wildkin. Transport via hat is a 6th level conjuration spell. Ooh, choose to place a variant rabbit species. Variant rabbit species. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Ready? You create a magical link between a target unworn, inanimate piece of headwear within range and another unworn, inanimate piece of headwear at any distance on the same plane. You must have seen or touched the destination hat at least once before. For the duration, any creature can touch the target hat and exit from the... its dimension. It's only 1 round. So, for 6 seconds, any creature can touch the target hat and exit from the destination hat by using 5 feet of movement. If while you touch the target hat, you use it to exit from the destination hat, you can cause the target hat to transport with you. Can cause. You don't necessarily have to. So you can leave it for your allies. I would suggest, yeah, absolutely, and you can post it to the Discord too, if you write up a fun one, because that, I think I kind of want to create, hang on. Let me do something. We're gonna do a little Discordy shenanigans if no one objects right now. For those of you who are not already on the Discord, I will add it to the Majiggy What's It again, chat. So, any of you want to come along to the Discord and say hi, love to have you. It's a lot of fun. We're going to add, we're getting there. Just, it's a little, Trixie, the text channels is magic items. Boom. Um, let me go to here. Oh, yes, and Arrow of Slaying. We're going to put this here. Yes, with this. That'll be the first one. And then I'll put in later when I can find the actually, if no one objects to me taking a moment. Okay. Sure. That sounds cool too. Give me half a second. You know, but yeah, we now have a magic item. First, let me, okay, hit save. And, very quickly find something. Yes, okay, yes. Flumpsbane Glaive. That. Alright, go back to Arcana Notes, as per protocol. And then we will... okay. That'll be for anything else we'll do for later. But yeah, we have a magical item section of our Discord now, which is pretty cool. So, there's that. Oh, yes. Transport via hat. Oh, so Oyster Bunny, you are an anthropomorphized rabbit, the same average height and weight as a human, that reproduces through brightly colored eggs. Oyster Bunnies can live thousands of years. You lack heritage via Fey and transport via hat traits. You have a burrowing speed of 5 feet, but you can only do so in loose soil and sand. You leave a tunnel. You speak, read, and write Common and Wildkin. Oyster Bunnies are legendary and often neutral good. That's kind of cool. See, this is the fun thing. They have these really fun little side races that are like, you know, you could have done a little more lore and you could have made them their own races, but, you know, they don't necessarily belong as separate races, but as sub races, they belong as their own. This one less so. I can see why this one only got a sub, but what about Fufu? Sentient rabbit, the same average height and weight as a gnome. Fufu live up to 10 years. You lack the heritage Fey and transport via hat traits. Burrowing speed of 5 feet, but you can only do so in loose soil and sand. Leave a tunnel. You also speak, read, and write Celestial. Fufus are often common and often neutral. So there's this whole freaking oodles of magical bunnies. Legendary. Like, Fufu, that one's common. Like, you're around, and you just have these giant bunnies the size of gnomes. I mean, I think Flemish giants are the type of rabbit that are just, what's the one? That are just that big anyway. Let me just see. There's a lot of species of... Hang on. Yes. Yes. All right. I 15 pounds on average, up to 22 pounds. Okay, so Sorry, let me just do one thing. So yeah, Flemish giant rabbits are about that size anyway. There we go. Yeah, so Flemish giant rabbits are about that size, can grow to be that size anyway. The size of a gnome, for example. But as a fufu, which is a magical rabbit, 3 feet or bigger in body length. Yeah, exactly, 3 feet. So they're, the size of a gnome, which is about 3 feet. So, yeah, they're actually about the same size. They just this fufu, which is this magical race of about the size of a gnome. So yeah, a Flemish giant would be about the same size, just rabbitier and not sentient and such. That is cool. I would love to have had a fluffy giant rabbit as a pet, but that's really cool, actually. Yeah, that is really cool. Okay. But yeah, so that's an interesting secondary race that we have here. Hyperia is a subcontinent of Arcana where magic is less frequent and non-humans are uncommon. It is a land of legends known for king-killing barbarians and evil sorcerers. Porgs who lived here were in the service of these sorcerers, considered to be demons. Interesting. Porg. Alright, she's pretty cool. And then we have, of course, male Porg with the... Okay, that's kind of cool with the extra piercings, not gonna lie. Yeah, I had a guinea pig when I was growing up. That was my... a couple fish, and then a guinea pig as my first proper non-fish pet, and... Then we had the dog, which was CeeLo and then Addie, and that was pretty much it. We didn't have a lot of animals growing up because I lived in suburbia, but, And now I can't have anything with fur or feathers in the house because my roommate has really bad asthma, so we just have these 2 little fishes who are the nicest little fishes ever. Yes, you are. Yeah, you are. Sorry. I have to tell them they're the nicest little fishes ever occasionally, or they forget. I also need to clean their tank. They have a filter now, so I don't have to change the water once per week, but that means I need to get 10 gallons of water, and I can't use tap water because it's bad for them, so I have to get actual water from, it's a whole thing. I have to, I don't have to replace it every few days the way you do 2 or 3 times a week because, when they don't have a filter because the fish do not do well without, but I do need to replace the filter soon, and I promise, when I get a USB splitter, and I have, that way I can, when I get to the point where I get a cash out, when it's a full $100 from the stream, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a USB splitter, and then my computer, which only has enough ports for the mouse, keyboard, and the microphone right now, I can also then add my second camera that I have, and then I can do a fish cam. So we can kind of prop it up on the end and watch the fishes be fishes because they're adorable, or do a dice cam. Actually, though, funny story. I still have Neuromancer, who's still sitting in the dice tray, kind of hanging out. A present from Pat 66, actually, and kind of hanging out on the dice tray, keeping watch over the dice in case there's trouble. I've yet to have any trouble except the dice tray flipping over and spilling dice everywhere, but still nice to have someone, a guard, protecting the dice tray. Oh, right. So we're going to do Porg because they are cool. Though I did not create the Porgs, I'm more than willing to let that rumor spread. Circe, exiled sorceress. Ooh. Porgs are humanoid boars or pigs. Their culture values feats of physical strength and eating large amounts of food. Throughout history, porgs have ended up in the employ of villains, but now resist promises of power, hoping to find it for themselves. Maybe. Porcine pummelers. Porks look like humanoid boys or pigs with stocky, battle-hardened bodies. They can have the same colors and features as any porcine species, though some have features unlikely for those animals, such as red eyes or very long tusks. Tattoos and piercings expressing their individuality or identifying their tribe. tattoos or piercings express their individuality or identify their tribe. As a barbarian culture, porgs are accustomed to harsh environments and wear only what clothing they need to survive, though some wear trophies of their greatest kills. Porg are direct and to the point, often starting fights to prove their strength. Many are mercenaries and are okay with taking orders even from one they deem weaker than themselves, but serve only those they would lead them to greater glory, even either through money or prestige. Porgs are well known among orcs, Zargons, and other races with strength-based cultures. I haven't gotten to Zargons yet, but orcs are interesting because they were created, in this particular world, were created as a hybrid of, during the Blood War, they were created by the one brother who wasn't a sorcerer created the orcs by splicing goblin genes, which, like, he did magical gene splicing to create this species to fight for him, even though he wasn't the sorcerer brother. So, Angus MacGuff, I think, or it was Titus. Hang on, there was a whole blood war between the two brothers, and, ooh, interesting. Okay. Good to know. A message. So, yeah, because I could use a USB. All right. That one actually looks pretty good. One US splitter with individual on-off switches and... Ooh, wow. That sounds cool. All right. This is my... Okay, so my goal is... yeah, my goal is to... well, first we have to... okay. Atola. Okay. No, it looks pretty cool. Alright, so it's not too expensive. So that is going to be my first, that might help me save it for a new computer. That might be a very interesting thing to have. So when I get a chance, I'll look into that one, but I kind of set it as a goal of the payout from Discord, from Twitch, simply because of, like, because it's something I'm going to get specifically for streaming. So it was kind of like, that's kind of the plan for it, you know what I mean? Let's see. And it kind of, like, gives me a goal to achieve with the streaming. But also just to be awesome and share this cool stuff with all of you. And if I keep doing that, I will eventually, because you guys do come on and watch, and you do get ads every once in a while, which I appreciate you sitting through, that, you know, feeds in, and so I will have, you know, a whole setup, soon. It's just a way to build the channel, you know what I mean? I mean, streaming's not going to get me any wealth or fame, but it's going to, hopefully, you know, it reaches more people. Anyway. Trace our origin to the sorceress Circe, who is said to have transformed sailors from into the first porgs to serve her, although this belief is unsubstantiated. And she herself said she didn't create the porgs, but is willing to let the rumor spread. Interesting. Scholars cite this myth as the reason porgs serve as warriors for powerful magical beings, though it ignores the fact that they established their own villages and work in other professions such as blacksmithing or construction. In fact, many brawl over the best material for building. Common among the sorceress coasts of the Avera subcontinent. Okay, wait. So they're native to Hyperia. Who live here are in service of these sorcerers considered to be demons. Oh, it doesn't specify. Okay. Where they're from, exactly. Okay. Castle Greyheart, which was once the capital for the region, has long since been abandoned and is now home to thousands of porgs. The city serves as a trading hub for porgs and other races willing to risk bodily injury. Representatives from the mob and Zargon Horde can be found here, spreading the word about their glorious new nations. Oh, there was a whole thing with the sun vampires that the mob... There was a whole thing with that, because they broke off from the Empire and did their own thing, and it was kind of awesome. Not gonna lie. Okay. Very cool. Oddly enough, porgs are fans of the sport called pigskin, which players throw a ball down the field to score points by reaching the end of it with it or kicking it through goalposts. The pigskin is actually covered with pork skin, which they willingly volunteer, seeing it as a great honor. Huh. In addition to Circe, porgs might worship the demiurge, a malevolent proto-god thought to have originated in the dusk realm. Porgs from Hyperia worship the spider Anansi, and is said to have helped organize rebellion among porgs confined in underground prisons there. Interesting. And the Hyperia is a subcontinent of Arcana where magic is less frequent and non-humans are uncommon. It is a land of legends known for king-killing barbarians and evil sorcerers. Porgs who lived here were in the service of these sorcerers, considered there to be demons. Your strength increases by 2 and your constitution increases by 1. Makes sense. Matures quickly within 4 years, but lives fewer than 3 decades. Aggressive, ruthless, selfish, and gluttonous. Most are chaotic neutral. That said, porgs often adapt to other cultures, especially that of orcs, and might have different behavior and alignments based on such interactions. Common. A porg might be seen anywhere. Orcs, gnolls, and similar people are found. Built like burly humans, your size is medium. Base walking speed 30 feet. Dark vision. Dim light within 60 feet of you is for bright light, and darkness within the same range is for dim light. Absolute even dim light. The vision is monochromatic. Menacing, which is proficiency in the intimidation spell. Ooh. There's variant too. Porg stomach. You add your proficiency bonus to saving throws against diseases and being poisoned. If you have proficiency in such a saving throw, your proficiency bonus is doubled for these purposes. Also, for any 24-hour period during which you have eaten or drunk at least twice as much as required for survival, you regain 1 extra hit point per hit die you expend, and you regain 1 extra hit die when you finish a long rest. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So if you eat a lot, you can heal from it. Relentless. When an effect would put you to sleep or force you to behave in a way that you wouldn't normally behave, you can act normally until the end of your next turn before succumbing to the effect. Also, when you are reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead. So you have an extra turn. There's a 1 turn delay before you get charmed, which is kind of cool. You regain the use of this feature when you finish a long rest. When you are reduced to 0 hit points but not killed outright, you can drop to 1 hit point instead, which is Relentless Endurance, the same feat that orcs have, but you can only do once per long rest. Similar in orcs. Languages. You speak, read, and write Common and Wildkin, although porgs get along well with orcs and learn Gob to speak with them, so you might know Gob. Variant porg species with the following changes. Here we go. Necroporg. You are an undead porg. You gain no ability score increase to constitution, and you have the living corpse trait from the zombie race. Your base walking speed is 25 feet. You speak Shadow Tongue. Necroporgs are legendary, found mostly in the shadowy nether realm. They are often neutral. Okay, you can play as a zombie pig. That is kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. And I feel like that makes sense for a sub-race because it's a necro pig. The question is, did Blue Box go live? Let me check something, because if we come to a good stopping point. So, and Blue Box is about to start, like right about now. So what I'm going to do is, let me just see if Blue Box is officially online. Yes, they are. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do, my friends. First, quick commercial announcement. This is a very cool necklace I have. It is from a group called Relentless Rebels. It is a jewelry company, and they made me a partner, essentially. So, it's sort of a sponsorship. It's the closest I have to being sponsored, and I got a discount code. So if you want cool necklaces like this one, which, you know, it's a really good length because it's not like too long, but it fits. It's kind of awesome. And the chain, I could switch the chain. So originally it came with the silver chain, and I switched it with this anchor necklace because I wanted the black chain. And these two are both very cool and are lovely. The only problem is they are in Europe, and if you are not in Europe, it takes a long time for stuff to get there, but they do fold the cost of shipping into the cost of the object, so you don't have to pay for shipping, which is very nice, and are generally pretty awesome. So I'll cite the stores. Okay, relentlessrebels.com. And then if you use my code, you can get 20% off any, cool necklaces like this or any other fun stuff they have. They have these really cool rings and stuff. They have the bracelet they have stuff with axes on it. They just have a lot of fun stuff. And now, if all of you will join me, we are going to go raid Blue Box. They're doing a Dungeons and Dragons game that they usually do. It is quite fun. I usually watch anyway. We are going to go raid them, and yeah, we're going to go raid. So I know a lot of you are also from Blue Box, so I highly suggest you come with. You, of course, don't have to, but I'm sure some of you are probably already lurking there. Or already left here to go there, so Bob. Come on. Sorry, the raid's being slow and loading. Yes, now we raid. Come on. Okay. Proper raiding done.